Everybody, welcome to the August 3rd TTAC meeting. We'll go ahead and get started, and I'll turn it over to James for a roll call.
All right, good morning. I will read off names. Please let us know if you're either here in person or if you are online. Ty Adley, Marshall County. David Armstrong, Indot Fort Wayne. Leslie Beeks, City of South Bend. Ryan Klussman, City of Elkhart. Here in person. Morning. Josh Corwin, City of Goshen. Here. Mike Daigle, South Bend International Airport. Chris Dressel, City of South Bend Community Investment. Amy Hill, Transpo.
Here.
Bill Holder, Kosciuszko County GIS. Chris Jamro, City of Mishawaka.
Virtual.
Kaufman, Elkhart County Planning. Sean Klein, St. Joseph County Area Planning Commission. Morning. Marshall McSherry, Kosciuszko County. Sky Meadows, St. Joe County. All right. Mike, thanks for coming. Jessica Miller, Indot Laporte. Good morning. Steve Moriarty, Kosciuszko County.
Present.
Charles McKenzie. Whoa, that's what it says on here. We're going super formal.
Very cool.
Yep. Good morning. Jason Peters, Marshall County. Derek Spear, City of Mishawaka. Sean Cerisi, City of Plymouth. Morning. Justin Taylor, City of Warsaw. And Brent Warren, our host extraordinaire, City of Napanee. Morning. Thank you for hosting us today. We do have a quorum of members present in person.
All right, great. We will go on to the minutes from the July meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at those. Are there any questions or comments? If not, we'll take a motion to approve. Do we have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. And we can move on to the report of our secretary.
All right, in your packet, we have any administrative modifications that we submitted in July. Those are available here. That sheet looks like this. For those who aren't familiar, administrative modifications. So these are changes to the Transportation Improvement Program. These are changes that this advisory committee and our policy board have given staff authority to make those changes between meetings that do not require board actions. These are typically small corrections or changes, clerical errors, those kind of things. And you can find the full definition of those on your agenda. Those are defined there. And then all of these are provided to you as well as to the public online. If you have any questions about any of those modifications, please feel free to talk to any of us on staff. Otherwise, there is no further secretary report.
All right, thank you very much. Any old business?
There's no old business today.
How about new business?
There is, and I'll turn it over to Allie to present.
All right, good morning, everyone. So we have laptops distributed around, so bear with us on the screens. But so for our first amendment today, it falls under Transportation Resolution 24-22. This is an NDOT initiated project, and it is at US 31 and State Road 10. This is a new interchange construction to help enhance the vehicular safety, as this is pretty problematic intersection. So when this project was originally programmed into our TIP, it was programmed in fiscal year 23. However, since then, there have been several delays with this project, delays due to funding availability. And then NDOT is also completing its planning and environmental linkage study for US 30 and 31. So there were questions if this project would even happen. But it has been confirmed with the new STIP that this project is back on. However, the new letting is December of 2027, so fiscal year 28. So we do have PE programmed in this fiscal year, so it really is just getting started again. And our reason for deleting this from the 22 to 26 STIP is just because This tip only looks to fiscal year 26, and so with construction in fiscal year 28, we will have to remove it from the tip and place it in our new tip when that is created. So happy to answer any questions about this item.
And I mean, this intersection continues to be a top priority for us to get the state to move forward with this interchange. There was just another crash last night, incapacitating injuries. There was another crash July 21st. So, and there was another crash July 16th, June 6th, May 31st, May 27th, April 30th, April 4th, you know, so like this has a long history of being an area that has a safety concern. I know the state's aware of that, and that's why this project exists. It is scheduled right now for fiscal 28, and so we're not necessarily getting rid of the project here. This is a cleanup action to try to make sure that the project is currently listed in the STIP as being construction in fiscal 23, which just isn't happening. That's this fiscal year, right? So this is a holdover from when that project got delayed and then canceled. And so this is really a cleanup action. We, of course, would love to see this project happen any earlier than fiscal 28, because it does continue to be a safety challenge. You know, so don't think that this action is permanently getting rid of this project. It's more a clerical cleanup here from a high level overview.
Any other questions for Ally? If not, I entertain a motion to endorse resolution 24-22. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, the resolution is endorsed. And we'll continue with Ally.
Great, thank you. So we can go ahead and advance to the next slide. So as many of you are aware, either from hearing me talk about it the last couple months or from your community having participated in it, MACOG recently held a call for projects. So the call was open to new project applications as well as requests for additional funding for projects currently programmed in our TIP. So that call closed June 29th. And throughout the month of July, our staff has been scoring the new project applications and reviewing the additional requests. So with that, we have been able to put together a list of our preferred projects. And then the next step was kind of plugging that into our existing planning program to see how these potential projects would fit with projects we currently have programmed. So that's what's been done to date. So today I am going to give an overview of the projects that we would like to recommend. And then throughout the next month, we will continue to coordinate with LPAs to, one, inform them of the potential selection, but then also to just confirm that the projects fit within their schedule and timeline, and with other projects they're currently funding. So that'll be happening throughout the next month, different conversations to be had with different LPAs. And then next month, I hope to come before you and add the new projects and additional funds into the TIP through a resolution. So that will be the TTAC's way to endorse the new project. So I'm going to give you an overview of them today, and then next month ask for your endorsement. So we can go to the next slide. So the first project that we would like to recommend is in Elkhart County. This is Bridge 385 carrying McKinley Avenue over the Yellow River. And a great thing about this project is it is surrounded by three very important projects. So you have the Hively grade separation and the Sunnyside grade separation, both of which were local tracks projects and are letting in fiscal year 25. And then to the east of that, you have the what we call the peanut, about the County Road, was it 18?
18.
Yeah, 18, 13, and 115 roundabout. So that is slated for a letting in November. So a big selling point for this project was that it appeared to be a systematic approach to improving this area on a larger scale. So this is a bridge replacement project, and we would like to participate in preliminary engineering, right-of-way, and construction phases. And the total estimated cost to complete for this is $3.3 million. Next slide. The next project that we would like to recommend is for the city of Goshen, the East College Avenue, what we're calling Phase 3. So it'll run from Century Drive to what we're saying the entrance of a planned development. So to the north of College, there'll be an industrial park, I think slated for 25. Is that correct, Josh? Yep. So hopefully by the time this project is underway, that development will be in place and it will connect to the entrance of that. If you're not familiar, we have currently funded the first 2 phases of this corridor. So phases 1 and 2 run from 9th Street to Century Drive. And so this new phase will be a connection to those 2 existing phases. And this is an added turn lanes project. And we would like to participate in PE, right-of-way, and construction. And the total estimated cost to complete for this project is $7.9 million. Next slide. The third project we would like to recommend is for the City of Goshen and City of Napanee. This is an EV charging infrastructure project. So this will include a level 3 fast charge site in downtown Goshen, and then a level 2 charge site in downtown Napanee. And for those of you not familiar with the different charging levels, I honestly wasn't that familiar with them until we were reviewing these applications, but essentially a level 3 is the fastest level of charge, and you can get about 150 to 350 miles of range per hour of charge, whereas with a level 2, you get about 10 to 30 miles of range per hour of charge. So again, 3 is faster, but definitely a little bit more expensive there. So we're going to bundle these 2 projects together. And the phases will include preliminary engineering and construction. And to be honest, this is our first time funding an EV charging infrastructure project through our call. So it'll definitely be a learning experience, but definitely up for the challenge. So again, grouping those projects together, and the total cost to complete is about $250,000. Next slide. The fourth new project that we would like to recommend is for the city of Mishawaka. This is McKinley Avenue from Merrifield to Lynn Street. So we're calling this Phase 2. So currently the city is doing environmental for the entire McKinley corridor. So that runs from Division to Elder. But then we are phasing construction. So Phase 1 is from Division to Merrifield. So this Phase 2 will connect to that and go from Merrifield to Lynn. So this is an added travel lanes project, and we would like to participate in construction. And the estimated cost to complete for this one is $5.6 million. The next project is for the city of South Bend. This is the CoLine Trail, what we're calling Phase 3, so running from Lincoln Way West to Linden Avenue. So we have currently funded phases 1 and 2 of this project. So phase 1 runs from Lincoln Way West to Riverside Drive, and then phase 2 runs from Riverside Drive to Angela Boulevard. So phase 1 has been constructed. Phase 2 is slated for a letting this September. And so fingers crossed, it's gone through a couple lettings so far, so we'll see. But this new phase will actually connect to what is phase 1. So it'll connect at Lincoln Way and go down to Linden Avenue, close to the MLK Community Center. So we would like to participate in PE and construction for this project, and the total estimated cost to complete is about $2.6 million. Next slide. Okay. And then the other City of South Bend project that we would like to participate in is the Safe Routes to School for Kennedy Academy. So for anyone not familiar with the Safe Routes to School approach, essentially it's a approach that promotes walking and biking to school through infrastructure improvements. So the kind of different thing about this project is is once funding is awarded, then the city, the consultant, and the school will sit down and actually determine the scope of the project. So it's a little backwards from other projects. So depending on what we fund, the city will use that and scope out the projects and kind of how far out we can take sidewalks from the school. So this is obviously a bike and pedestrian facility, and we will be participating in PE and construction for an estimated cost to complete of $2.6 million. And then last but not least, we have in St. Joseph County, the Bridge 214 carrying Otten Road over the St. Joseph River. So just south of St. Pat's Park outside of Roseland. This is a bridge replacement and a fairly large replacement at that. And we would like to participate in PE and construction for a total estimated cost of about $7.1 million. Okay, so those are the 7 new projects that we would like to fund, and happy to have an open conversation about those after. But also wanted to dive into our additional funding recommendations. So we always try to give priority to our existing projects, you know, the thought of trying to finish what we started before we start looking at new projects. But that's been increasingly challenging with inflation currently. So our total additional funding requests were about $13.2 million total. And we are prepared to award about $11 million of that. So honestly, the $2 million that we aren't able to fund are really just requests that are in this fiscal year, and we are just currently so over-programmed for this year. So I don't think any of the projects were, you know, blatantly saying, no, we can't give you any funding. But there are some projects that we're going to have to honor a partial request. And that is always subject to change based on our lettings. So we do have a few lettings coming up here. So, you know, our availability is based on how those lettings go. But as always, we try our hardest to get projects to their full 80-20 match. So here on the screen, it's kind of hard to see, but the 8 projects that we would like to award additional funding to, I can read them off here. So first, in Elkhart County, the County Road 18, 13, and 115 intersection improvement that I referenced earlier. And this has a upcoming November letting. Next, we have the City of Elkhart. This is what we're calling the Bristol Street widening. We would like to provide additional funds for right-of-way phases and construction. In Goshen, the Blackport Drive Road reconstruction. It's running from Monroe to Lincoln. We'd like to provide additional funds for PE and construction. In Mishawaka, the 12th Street Road reconstruction, providing funds for construction. And then also in Mishawaka, the Cedar Street Bridge widening project, we will be providing funds for construction. South Bend, the CoLine Phase 2A and 2B, so the trail work and the bridge work that I referenced earlier, that one has a September letting, so we're going to wait till the letting to see what we're able to award at that time. And then finally, 2 projects in St. Joseph County. We have the Mayflower Road Bridge rehabilitation, providing additional funds for their construction. And then we have the McKinley Highway Road reconstruction from Birch to Ash Road, participating in their construction. And that one also has a letting coming up here soon. So with that, I think there's one more slide we can go to. Yeah. So just a high-level summary. So the total federal funds that we're prepared to award for new projects is about $21.3 million. And then the total federal funds to be awarded for existing projects is about $11 million. So our total investment, in addition to what we're already investing in the region between fiscal years 23 and 29, is about $32.3 million. So I'll pause there, lots of information. What questions, comments does everyone have?
Just as kind of a general statement, I know Allie already mentioned it. many of you have had projects with us in the past, and you know that we always try and keep you whole in the sense of an 80-20 split. That's always what we try to strive for. So in those projects that were awarded additional funds, or maybe they weren't awarded all of their additional funds, part of it is we need to see how some lettings play out. So like this year, there are a few different lettings in South Bend with CoLine Trail, or in Elkhart, there's a few lettings with multi-use path and the County Road 18 intersection. And so part of our availability of funding for some of those additional requests will determine based on what contractors bid and really what that market looks like. So don't take the additional funds number as that we're somehow now changing our philosophic viewpoints related to funding additional fund requests. It's really just that challenge of, especially for this fiscal year, of what we already had programmed. And then kind of the other additional fund requests that we didn't do, I think the larger one was in fiscal 28. So we have a few years before that one really comes to fruition. So that's why we didn't fully commit to it at this point, just because there's quite a bit that could change between now and fiscal 28. So just as an FYI on those, I want to make sure that folks know that we always try to keep you at 80-20 as much as we can. If costs escalate too high, we'll always have conversations about if there are logical termini where we can split the project up and do it in different phases. I know we've done that previously in St. Joe County, say with phases of McKinley. But we're always committed to the projects we already committed to first. So. Any other questions? I want to thank Caitlin and Allie for kind of leading up the call this year. It was, I asked if we could do it earlier. Usually this is a fall call where we do it in October, but we really wanted to be able to get it done earlier this year because of all the additional funds from IJA, the new infrastructure bill, where there may be opportunities to get some of these PEs started this fiscal year if we were able to make those awards early. So we will be having individual conversations on the timing of all of these projects with the LPA sponsors, and then trying to get these programmed. You'll see them on the agenda next month to be programmed. The thing that I would ask is if any of you are going to be receiving new projects and that they are PEs for fiscal 23, which is what we're in right now, be prepared to hit the ground running. Be open to us providing assistance if that's what it needs to get these PEs moving forward, helping with the requests for proposals or a DPE goal request or all those kind of things. Because we'll want, if we're funding some of these PEs, we might be able to fit them into this fiscal year. And I know a number of you had to mobilize some PEs that were supposed to be funded this year and got them funded last year. And I know that that can be a challenge to do some acceleration. But, you know, it's appreciated when you can, and it keeps our program kind of on track. So if you do have PEs that are going to be funded in 23, the goal is to try and get those to under contract, if at all possible, you know, end of the year, worst case scenario, end of January. And I know that's tight timelines, but I think once we start to have conversations, it's an infinitely doable thing. So just an FYI that there are a few of these that we might want to hit the ground running, because even if we can obligate $10,000 on them this fiscal year, they can get started and we can backfill them with funding in fiscal 24 if all those lettings come in high. But that gets your project started, you know, and then we can be able to get things going and still give you your full federal funds in a later fiscal year. So just an FYI. Anybody have questions? Threw a lot at you. Allie's threw a lot at you. No. Just want to say thank you to Allie and Caitlin for all their hard work on this.
Alrighty, I think we can go ahead and move on then.
Right.
Two kind of quick grant updates from our community development department. They couldn't be here today, so I'm going to give a high level overview. So the first grant opportunity is the T-Mobile Hometown Grant Program. So this grant is aimed at revitalizing small towns and cities with populations less than 50,000. Applications will be accepted until September 30th. But the great thing about this is that no match is required. So it's essentially free money, and the reward size is up to $50,000. And it sounds like there's a broad definitions of applicable projects, so ranging anywhere from Wi-Fi in parks to fixing up a community pool. So if anyone has any projects that they think they might want to just try to submit, get some free money, you can reach out to Sophia Glodden with our community development department. I'm happy to share her contact info with anyone after the meeting. So just making you guys aware of that one. And then the next grant is the Office of Community and Rural Affairs Community Development Block Grant. So this construction grant will open for application September 1st. And programs accepting applications are the Public Facilities Program, the Blight Clearance Program, the Stormwater Improvements, and the Wastewater and Drinking Water Improvements. So communities must have a 51% or higher low to moderate income percentage. And then income surveys may be an option at OCRA's discretion if the community or service site is close to that 51%. And for this grant, there's a 10% match required. So again, not too familiar with it, but Sophia is the expert. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her on this one as well. Next slide. Okay. And then the final kind of grant update, the Community Crossings Matching Grant that many of you are familiar with. Normally it would close July 31st. NDOT extended it an extra month, so it's now closing August 31st. So I think I reached out to everyone here offering assistance with this application. But again, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to review your application, just look over everything. This guy's keeping me busy reviewing his application right now. So happy to help. And then kind of similar to that, to be eligible for Community Crossings funds for next calendar year, you will have to have an approved asset management plan by December 1st. So you'll submit that to LTAP. So if your community needs updated Payzer road ratings, we're happy to assist with that, or just help updating your plan from last year. So I'm here as a resource, so happy to help in any way I can.
So it need to be just submitted by some first or needs to be submitted in advance, but actually approved by.
I believe just submitted by the December 1st.
The approval is pretty fast once you get it submitted.
It's
like a- Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll double check though. I think it is just submitted by, but we'll double check just to make sure that it's not approved by.
Any other questions on that one? Alrighty, we can go ahead and move on. Turn it over to Caitlin.
Awesome. I know over the past several months, we've been kind of keeping you updated on some of the new USDOT discretionary grant programs. And so I just wanted to kind of provide this slide as a summary. There's a few due dates that are coming up here in August and September related to these programs. We're working with a variety of you on possibly applying. If your community is thinking about applying and you haven't reached out, please do so. The next one that's coming due is the Bridge Investments Program. Another one that we will be working on for the region is the Safe Streets and Roads for All. We're planning to submit a regional an application for a regional action plan, so that it would cover all kind of jurisdictions within our region, so that in subsequent years, implementation funds through this grant would be available to you all. And yeah, so just wanted to keep this as a placeholder and make you aware of some due dates. But if you haven't done so and wish to apply, please reach out to Allie or myself. And then I have the next one, moving into kind of plans and programs. I believe I mentioned last meeting that we'll be kicking off, or James probably did since I was here. We'll be kicking off our Michiana on the Move 2050 transportation plan. So broad view of how we plan to invest in transportation through 2050. We're going to be hosting a series of kind of county-wide kickoff meetings. We have those on the schedule. Thanks for reserving some municipal space for some of these meetings. The first ones will take place in Kosciuszko and Marshall County on August 31st. And then the following day will be in St. Joseph and Elkhart County holding meetings. And a large discussion will be talking kind of about growth that we've seen, profitable growth that you expect, different trend scenarios, those sort of things that kind of will inform the base of how we're planning for the future. So you should all receive invitations this week to those meetings, and we're looking forward to kind of having the conversation to kick this plan off.
All right, next item here is the Connect Transit Plan. At this point, you should all be familiar with the fact that MACOG is jointly working with Transpo on a regional transit plan, which we are calling Connect. Right now we're in what we're calling phase 2 of our engagement, where in the first phase, we went out to the public. We asked them a series of questions kind of around different choices and their priorities. We took that information and then drew up some concepts around those choices. They're strictly illustrative examples. They're not a policy proposal. But then we took that back to the public and now have been engaging them on, what would the system look like if it was designed more towards higher levels of frequency, which we would call a ridership concept, or what would it look like if we leaned even more towards a coverage concept where we went to more places, but probably less frequent. And we're showing them that and getting their feedback. And so that's kind of where we're at now throughout the rest of August and into the early part of September. And then in September, we'll be engaging with the MACOG Policy Board and the Transport Board of Directors to talk to them about really, from a policy perspective, what percentage do we want to invest our resources in? Do we want to have something that leans 70-30 towards ridership, or 70-30 towards coverage, or 50-50, right? And be able to engage our boards in that to get a direction of really where we should be investing our resources. And then once we've done that, we will actually work with the consultant to draw up a theoretical policy concept, a vision for what that system would be. Now, all of that is using the concept that we're only going to work within our existing resources. We've also drawn up other concepts that if we had additional resources, financial, capital, more buses, more drivers, more financial resources, what that might be able to do, because as we gain more resources, those trade-offs between ridership and coverage become less impactful, if you will, because there's not as big of a trade-off. You're able to do more, right? And so we'll have all of that. But right now, between now and September, we're really asking the public to engage in that phase 2 We have a public survey and have had a number of public open houses. So if you haven't helped us promote this, please help promote it. There's still some time for the public to fill out those public surveys, and you can find out more information at connecttransitplan.com, or you can find it on social media channels as well. With that, that's kind of, unless Amy, you had anything.
No, I think you've got it covered.
All right, I think that was kind of the Connect update.
Like your logo.
Thank you. I think that was an in-house design.
It was with MACOG, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. The next item that I have here is just a reminder and a request. But as a reminder, MACOG is launching an Americorps program. This is something that is new to our organization, and it is launching in the short end. Roughly in about September, we'll be able to start bringing members on board for the Americorps program. We have been approved to have up to 15 members in our first year. We had a recent call for service sites or potential host sites for those members, where we asked them to submit their general interest and some brief description about what those Americorps members would be working on. Our program is geared toward sustainability and environmental stewardship, or then there's another side of it that's geared towards kind of the economic resilience side of things based on a recent resilience plan. We have worked with all those applicants to kind of go through the potential service sites from a high level perspective. The service sites that we're looking to engage with this first year. And I think this is a complete list, but I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. It's the Elkhart Environmental Center, the City of Goshen, City of South Bend, Shirley Hines Land Trust, the St. Joseph River Basin Commission, Cultivate Culinary Food Rescue, the Tolson Center, Elkhart and St. Joe County Head Start, MACOG. We'll be having someone focused on broadband and digital inclusion under the economic resiliency side of things, and then the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. So those are kind of our initial host sites. And right now we are heavily geared towards recruitment for members. For those not familiar with Americorps program, this is essentially service to your country, but through kind of civic service. And so full-time members are given a living allowance, which if they're full-time, in our case, it would be up to $22,000, as well as then upon the completion of their service, they are given an educational award, which is either a public loan repayment or for future tuition of up to $6,495 per year of service, as well as then our program will be offering health insurance that does not have a premium. So all of this is benefits that are items that are provided, the notable benefits provided to Americorps members in our program. So if you know of anybody who is getting back in the workforce, anybody who's taken maybe a gap year, anybody who is interested in kind of serving the region in one of these programs, has general interest, please send them our way. You know, these folks tend to be highly motivated individuals who are really interested in serving their community. I know a number of our staff actually were Americorps members. I believe Caitlin was an Americorps member, as well as Leah and Kate Barrett and Amber, and I'm probably missing 2 or 3 other people. And that's always the danger of listing people. But these tend to be pretty motivated individuals who are passionate around these topics and can provide a lot of extra capacity for your organizations. So if you didn't think about submitting this time around, this should, with success, be an annualized program. So think about it for the future. But if you know folks or you want to help us promote it, it'll be in your MACOG Gazette today. It was on our Facebook yesterday. Please help share that, help promote it. If you know of current students that might be interested, or folks taking a gap year or getting back into the workforce, or retirees who are still looking to serve their community, send them our way, okay? That's my ask, is that we need to be able to find up to 15 members. And in the current economic climate, finding one person is challenging. Finding 15 people is a different level of challenging. So please help us promote that if you can. And that's the Americorps update.
Thanks,
And I
Jim.
think that concludes all of our staff updates for today.
All right, privilege of the floor. Any questions or comments from anybody on the committee?
Hold on. We're going to pass you the mic so that people can hear.
I'm lazy. I don't want to stand up.
Yeah. Just so then that way, halfway through it, someone online doesn't go, what?
This will be my last meeting with MACOG. Accepted a position in Indianapolis, so I will be able to give you guys the contact information for who will take over. But I think I've been coming to these meetings for 7 years now, so
Please continue with that.
yes, still be within DOC, just moving up.
So what's the new role, or are you not allowed to tell us?
I will be the managing director of project delivery, so I'm following Lindsay Quist again.
Yeah?
The ladder, so which is a great person to follow. So the official announcement will go out on Friday to my staff, or to the organization. My staff's been made aware, but I wanted to let you guys know. So
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you. But more than likely, Lisa Schrader will step in the interim, and then once we get the position filled, we'll have that person come in, take this role on. So
Well, congratulations. We will miss you,
mhm.
but don't be a stranger.
I won't.
I still
come
talk to
in.
Lindsay. So, yeah. All right.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we can move into public comment. Any public comments?
Not aware of any public comment that was emailed in advance. I don't see any public comment in person. I guess, can we check and see if there's any public comment online? I'm not aware. I haven't
There's
seen.
no public comments online.
Donnie says no. All right. So I think we are okay.
Then I would just entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, everyone.
I mean,